to see you, Dove.
You're far away, but somehow the magic of video conferencing makes it all possible.
Well, we seem to have been able to master that for the college, and we do it with people all around the world on a regular basis now.
Yeah, it is becoming routine, isn't it?
Indeed.
So the whole idea here is for the people in the college and maybe others who are interested to know a little bit more about, our leadership and through you, what the college is doing and what we're trying to accomplish. So I know we've gone through some of the questions. I don't want our audience to think you're totally unprepared, but I do have some questions that I'm going to throw in. I hope you'll play along with me on those as well.
I'll do my best to field them.
I know you will. All right. Look, a few years ago, we were in Taiwan at a meeting, and we talked about the possibility of you wanting to be president of the college and what your vision was. And since then, we've had COVID, and you've been inducted virtually with a chain sent across the world through a video by our past president, Dr. Senda, to you in Amarillo, Texas. So have your thoughts, your vision about the college changed because of COVID?
No, my feelings and my thoughts about the college haven't changed. What has changed is how I think we'll have to work to implement what I'd like to accomplish. And my hope from the very beginning was that we could get the college more collaborative, working more together, sections helping sections, the college helping the sections. And that would have been nice to have been able to express in person whenever possible. But that's not the reality of where we live right now. And so it's just we've learned to adapt, we've learned to communicate, and I think we can still communicate a message, even though unfortunately we can no longer give each other a big hug and a handshake and say hi in person.
Hopefully that'll change sooner rather than later, but
yes,
we have
indeed.
to prepare. So before I ask you a couple of more questions about the college, let's talk a little about who's Richard Smith. You're a Texas born and bred, right?
Yeah, I was born here in Amarillo, Texas. My dad was a career pilot in the Air Force, so I was in Texas off and on, but I don't think I've ever lost my roots.
So were you a cowboy?
Huh?
Were you a cowboy?
Oh, I wouldn't say I was a cowboy, but I did work on my grandfather's farm ranch and, managed to get thrown off a horse once or twice.
And you went to school? You were educated in Texas?
I went to some elementary school in Texas, and I went to college here in Texas. The rest of the time we were in different parts of the country. But once you're born here and once you find out what Texas is about, it's hard to go someplace else.
A lot of people that have become leaders in different fields have come from Texas. I'm talking about in the U.S. in particular. Is there something about being raised in Texas that creates leaders?
Well, there may be. One of the things is most people in Texas are fairly strong and independent when it comes to taking action. Most people in Texas, if you have a problem and they see it, they're going to come over and give you a hand. And this is the kind of place where people have a tendency to trust each other. Now, I can't speak for the big cities, but still I know some people that live in large metropolitan communities, and they still have that same attitude. And it's an attitude that's, we may have a problem, but we're going to solve the problem and we're going to overcome this. And we're just going to keep plugging along and do the best we can and help anybody we think needs help.
Well, that sounds like a good thing for kids to grow up seeing and, participating if they do so wish, that there's an environment that encourages that. So now let's talk a little bit about being the president. You may not know this. The first president was from Cuba. And
I didn't know that.
There you are. And after him, 87 presidents have been honored with the position that you now hold. You are the 89th president. And you may not have known that because actually I had to do a bit of research.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've had some great leaders along the way.
Oh, absolutely. We've had some marvelous presidents. The president who preceded me, Dr. Sindhu, I think did a magnificent job in very difficult circumstances. I feel like the most important thing I can do is make the college more cohesive, make the college and the sections and the districts and the regions all understand that we are one large international body, and that the one thing we all share in common is that we come from a great profession, dentistry, and that's the one thing that we all share and we should always remember. And it doesn't matter what section you're in or what country you're from, we all belong to the bigger family of the college and dentistry.
What do you hope in the next 10 years the college will be like 10 years from now? What would be your dream college 10 years from now?
My dream college 10 years from now would see us be sure to recognize all the dentists around the world who deserve fellowship and bring them into the college. I would hope that the college is seen as a mover and a shaker when it comes to oral health around the world. I would like the college to be in a position where if a section had difficulty, as we've seen sections this year have some very difficult times, not only from the COVID, but from political unrest and things like that, where the college as a whole could come and help that section get through a difficult time. And if we do that and we take care of each other, the college will grow, because people like to be associated with something that has meaning and fulfills whatever inner needs they have.
Let me flip around to some personal things that I know about you. So I'll try not to embarrass you. I don't think I will. But I do know that you have a pretty interesting hobby in you building an airplane.
That's true.
That is not something that every one of us does. So, I mean, I certainly don't. But can you talk about that? Because that must have a lot of considerations, concerns. I mean, it's something you're going to fly. You want to fly yourself. So I guess you really care about how everything comes together. You don't be left with any screws or bolts left on the floor when you're finished, right?
That's exactly right. It's when you take on a project like building an airplane, especially the way I chose to do it, which was just from a set of plans. And so I've had to fabricate all the pieces and all the parts and put everything together and then do some design work and come up with some things to work. You're making a very large commitment. And that commitment is not a short-term commitment. This particular project's been a very long-term project. But it also teaches you the importance of commitment. It teaches you that you can't get upset if things don't work out exactly right, because that's not going to get you any farther down the road. You have to determine what the problem was and then solve it. And actually building the airplane has given me a better outlook on life, from the standpoint that I realized that life or the college or anything like that is more than just me or a particular point in time. It's a long-term thing. It's something that's there. My children and my wife named the airplane The Other Woman because I spend so much time out there, but they also are been very supportive. You learn to do new things, and as you learn that you can do new things and things you never attempted before, you realize that carries over to whatever else you're doing. To be very honest, I'm not the most brilliant computer person in the world, but having to do all the stuff we're doing now, I'm getting better because I'm learning more. And so a task like that, I think, helps you prepare for life. And yes, it will be me in the seat when it flies. And yes, I want everything as right as I can get it. So it also teaches you to be very careful and to learn to double and triple check things and be sure that what you do is correct. And that's the way.
Tell us how long you've been working on that
Oh,
project.
Lord, I hate to say it. But I must put in a caveat. I lost about 20 years of work on it when I was involved with the Texas Dental Association and the American Dental Association organization and politics and everything. But the other woman is 49 years old.
I don't know. I would think there's been some advance in flying since then, but anyway, I'm going to pass on that. Seeing how it's a one-seater.
That's true, and some of the things that I thought I was going to do have now changed, especially in the instrumentation and, the radios and everything like that. But that's okay. You learn to adapt.
Yeah, you mentioned the Texas Dental Association. I know that you received one of their most important awards. I think it was the gold medal for distinction. And one of the descriptions was about your work with the Smile Foundation.
Smiles Foundation, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I read that they produced $18 or $20 million of dental services since 2000 or something.
Well, we started our first mission event in 2001.
Yeah.
Since that time, we've delivered about $25 million worth of care to almost 48,000 citizens of Texas. We do all our mission work in the state.
So, and
I just got back 2 days ago from a mission trip.
So tell us how are those mission trips organized? Do you have volunteers? Do you have staff? How does it go? That's a lot of.
We have a staff foundation, and we have a board of directors and a committee that deals with delivering the care. A community will approach the foundation and ask for one of the events, and it's about a year-long process to plan out an event. And once you get it all planned out, we'll go and we'll find a venue, and we've been in everything from the lobby of a science museum to a community center to basketball gyms. We've just about put them everywhere you can put an event. And then we'll go, and we have equipment that we've acquired over the years, and we can do up to 40 chairs if need be. Now, COVID has cut us back. We've had to change some of the way we do things as far as the number of chairs, simply because it takes up so much more room. But we go and we set up all our units, and then we treat for 2 days, and then we break down and send everything back to Georgetown, Texas, where we have a warehouse. And it's volunteer dentists from around the state. We like to say that there's a lot of the dentists who've drunk the Kool-Aid and got the message, because we have young people that come as pre-dental students, get into dental school, come as dental students, and then once they graduate, they come back as dentists. And that's, for me, the most heartwarming part of it is the fact to see these young people understand that it's important to give back and take care of people who can't otherwise get help.
Well, it sounds like a great model, and it certainly parallels and relates clearly to what we believe in the college are the important values for dentists and dentistry. And it's an amazing amount of service that you've done there. So kudos to everyone there. What would you say to someone who's just coming into the ICD and wants to have an impact? How can they move ahead and move forward in the leadership field?
Well, the simplest answer, and it's actually the one that works, is you get involved. You in your local area, you be the initiator, and if you've got some fellows and you're not doing a lot, we'll start having a breakfast or have a dinner or go to someplace and have a couple of drinks and visit. As you and I have talked about many times, the best business we get accomplished is when we're face-to-face in an informal setting, talking about what needs to be done and how we can accomplish that. The same thing as far as a young person. Find out who the ICD people are in your area and make contact with them. Don't sit back and wait for somebody to touch you on the shoulder. Get out there and find out who those people are, and you be the one touching them on the shoulder. Now, I don't think anybody should ever strive for anything. I'm a Presbyterian, and we don't seek much. We just sort of believe it's going to fall on us like a ton of bricks sometimes. But get out there and find these people, make contact with them, try to get something going. And I'll guarantee you it won't take long that you'll be involved in leadership. And always remember that the most important thing in leadership is it's not what you want, it's what your people need. and what the organization needs. That's what you should be thinking about. And if you do that, you will find yourself put in position after position that you can actually have some effect. So just get involved. Just get involved. Don't sit back and wait.
I'll be interested a few years from now for the younger fellows who've heard that, if they followed your advice, and we'll have to find out.
Well, I'll tell you, some of the young people we've been bringing in our state, I don't think that's going to be a problem because these are go-getters. And I hope that everybody who is honored with fellowship understands, as we say in the fellowship orientation and usually in a commencement speech, your journey has just begun. Just don't sit. It's great to have the honor. It's a wonderful honor, and I've been so privileged with that. But you've still got more to do.
What would you like to tell the college, young, old, retired, new, that they can look forward to in the next couple of years?
Oh, you mean in respect to the college?
For the yeah, as far as the college, I mean, you've climbed the ladder, so you know the story, and I think you know what's possible. So what's possible in the next year or two, and that the college can feel like, yeah, we're definitely going to move in the right direction, or we're moving in the right direction, or we have barriers. People wonder.
Well, I think that, since I've been involved with the International College leadership, I've seen tremendous increase in what we're doing, how we're out there in the public among our fellows, and in the public in general, for that matter, as far as some of the things, some of the initiatives we've been involved in. And I think that these young people in a couple of years can hope, and as I do, that we continue that trend, that we become a worldwide force, that people come to us because they understand we have knowledge and that we have good advice in certain circumstances. And if we do that, everybody wants to be part of an organization that accomplishes things that they can be proud to say, I am a member of that organization. And I think the college is on the right track to do that. I think it just takes people dedicated to keep it going. We just keep working. We continue to find ways to do things that are important, and then also be sure that people understand that we did them.
I mean, that's good advice, and I think that the thing that concerns me is the fact that generally when I go to an ICD meeting, it could be any of the ICD meetings I've been to, whether they're locally or regional or in almost any country, the last thing we talk about at the table is dentistry. We're usually talking about something else, whether it's, a humanitarian program or what's going on in the world. And I find that to be very unique because most of the dental organizations that I belong to, dentistry is pretty much on the table as far as talking points. And I think that's unique to the college, but I think it's also unique to the focus of the people that become members of the college, because I think it seems like we're interested in something beyond the everyday. And I believe that's a draw, and having COVID and making the meetings nearly impossible, I think it's been a real difficulty for a lot of the fellows that I've spoken to. That's something that was intangible, but is now very strongly felt.
I agree, and that's one of the things when you deal with a group of people like that are fellows in the college. These people understand that dentistry is the base we all share, and they can get plenty of discussion about dentistry other places, but when you gather international people together and you want to talk about what we're doing, we've got to talk in the bigger scope. We've got to talk about the impact we have on oral health around the world, the impact we can have as far as making life better for people. And that doesn't involve the latest composite material or impression material. It involves the hearts and souls of these people who understand that we need to be leaders and take care of people, but also give an example of how this can be done by other groups. We have a great responsibility. and we need to be sure we step up to that responsibility. And I think the college has done a marvelous job at that. In the last 4 years, I've seen so much more that the college is involved in and doing worldwide that I think we're on the right track. I think the future's bright. And
I think you're right. I think your analysis of where we've been and where we're going is spot on. And I think when the COVID problems are resolved and we can get back together, that will be very important. It'll bring back the esprit de corps that is felt usually most meetings that we go to, and we feel that. And I think that a lot of what you said is going to be helpful to both fellows young and old, because you've said a lot of things that I think we all feel, not necessarily have been able to speak about it. So thank you for that. And say, before we close, is there anything else, any message that you'd like to send out to the members who ostensibly voted for you through their representation, eventually in the council, and then the council voted you in? So you represent, as we always talk about, over 12,000 members, 122 countries. That's a pretty big responsibility.
Well, it is, and it's important that you don't lose sight of what you just said. 12,000 members worldwide, 122 countries. And it's hard to say this without seeming to pat yourself on the back, but these are the best dentists in the world. These are the guys who give and care. And what I'd like to see, and what I would hope that comes to fruition, is that we enlarge the college with more of these deserving people, that we make the people that are already fellows closer together, more connected. You know, one of the warmest feelings I get, whether it's at one of our mission things here in Texas or a meeting at the national level or the international level, is when I see some of my ICD fellow friends and can run up and give them a big old Texas hug and shake their hand and connect with them again and be able to be with them. And I think that's extremely important. During this period with COVID, I think we've all come to realize how much we miss actually seeing someone physically being with them. And, you know, we are a gregarious species, and we like to be with other people, and we especially like to be with other people that we agree and like, and they think the same way we do. And I'm not talking politically, I'm talking about the greater good of the world. And I haven't yet met an ICD fellow that doesn't have that spark in some way. He may be researching something, or he may be delivering care somewhere, or he may be leading a local mission group. They all have that spark to make the world better. And that's what our responsibility is. That's what our responsibility is to both humanity and our profession. And I just hope that we continue that, and I know we will.
Well, I can't think of a better ending. So thanks so much, Dick. The 89th president of the International College of Dentists. And from a selfish point of view and on behalf of the college, I wish you well.
Well, thank you so much. And let me tell you, it's great to have people like you and the rest of the executive committee and all the counselors doing the business of the college and supporting what we're trying to do. It's great.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Take care.